Welcome back. Today on the Next Generation Critic, where I usually make snarky comments, there's no need because the outrageous Okona is much snarkier. As usual, 1 point will be taken for each error, and still photos are used extensively to prevent copyright claims. According to the captain's log, they're in a star system where humanoids, not Earth humans, have colonized, and don't have warp speed yet, which means they're breaking the Prime Directive already, so minus 1 point. Minus 1 point for a single set of doors on the turbolift. For some strange reason, the erstwhile is already heading towards the Enterprise. To attract a bigger female audience, they show Captain Okona's butt. According to IMDb, Billy Campbell was in the running for the part of Commander Riker. This is why Deanna's telling Picard, he looks like more fun. Let's trade them out right now while no one is looking. It'll be a much more fun 6 years with this guy. No rank on Deanna's uniform, so minus 1 point. Data's definition of rogue forgets the word loner. And look closely, Deanna's on the bridge and they do have visual contact. Wesley should know not to offer help right away, so minus 1 point. Minus 1 point for a teenager flying the ship. Worf recommends limited access to the ship. The transporter chief acknowledges, who is a woman. Now he gets all dreamy about hearing her voice. For some reason, he doesn't see Deanna on the bridge, so minus 1 point. Picard's not impressed at all, and now Riker has to do a one-up on Okona's snarkery. Minus 1 point for a visible boom mic, and minus 1 point for black squares on the back panels. Wesley says, I number 1. Riker says, shut down your engine so the tractor beam can work. Where have I heard this before?
What are you doing here? Ease off on your main thruster.
The Starfleet boys meet the Wild Boy. Riker's like, wait, is that Terry Hatcher operating the transporter? Of course, Worf has worked with these rapscallions before, and he's onto their pranks. Minus 1 point. He said captain, but they overdubbed it with commander.
I'd be most happy to do the work myself, Commander. I'm sort of the...
Now comes the stare down. Riker says, we'll do the work for you to prove that I am more macho. Okona says, I'd like to help. I'm very hands-on, especially with the women. Riker says, no, I'm better with the women and I have a better beard. To which Okona says, no, I have a better beard and I have a ponytail and I am going to score right now with Terry Hatcher. Watch this. Minus 1 point for opening credits 6 minutes into the show. Data and Wesley both think, hey, he's funny. Maybe he would have been a better Commander Riker. Now Okona makes his move on Terry Hatcher with some really bad pickup lines. To which she says, your pickup lines suck, but I'm going to fall for it anyway so I can brag about it to all the other girls. Then Okona says, I was almost the first officer. How about I take you where no man has gone before just to really piss off your boss? Then Riker says, how long is this going to last? Didn't Tasha and Beverly already call this show sexist? If he got the part of Riker instead of me, they would have left before we even got to Farpoint. Then Worf says, I don't think Wesley's old enough to see this yet. Okona cracks a joke at Data, who doesn't really get it, but he's really trying to show off in front of the kid. Geordi talks about Zelibium and Trisolite. Minus 1 point for a single set of doors on the turbolift. Minus 1 point for saying deck 10 when they are on deck 8, and minus 1 point for the door not saying 806. Okona wants to know more about Data. He probably doesn't run into androids much. He talks to Data about jokes, so Data calls him the left fielder. Now you may think it's sexist for the transporter operator to fall for some guy after just a few really bad pickup lines, but we have all seen this happen in real life. Wesley wants to know what Riker thinks about Okona. Riker says, my beard is better and I get more girls than he does. And Wesley's like, yeah, I don't think so. Data goes to Guinan for advice on humor. Guinan tells Data a really horrible joke and doesn't understand why he doesn't get it. Both of them, though, think the left fielder is hilarious.
The left fielder's name. Why?
Guinan says, she's no help at all. Go talk to a computer. 10 forward is on deck 10, so why does Data take the turbolift to deck 10? So minus 1 point. And Data's conversation with the computer is truly boring. For some reason, 300 years in the future, jokes about quantum mechanics are going to be the funniest thing in the world. Minus 1 point. He chooses Ronald D. Moore. This is Joe Piscopo's name 300 years in the future. Data wants to know what's funny. Joe says the third baseman is funny.
And who's playing third base? No, who's on first? What's on second? Who's on second? Who's on first? I don't know. He's third base.
Data would know a fish is not an amphibian, so minus 1 point. Data says nothing makes him laugh, which means this is hilarious. That's what she said. Data learns if you put funny teeth in your mouth and jump around like an idiot, that is funny.
That is considered to be funny?
And if you slow down this joke, it's not funny at all, so -1 point. Data's joke bombed, but his timing comment went well. Look quick, and extra always crosses when somebody comes out of the turbolift. A spaceship is coming. It's Valkyris. She wants to sell the secrets of Genesis. It is possible this type of ship is sold throughout the galaxy, so I can't take a point. Aww. Lasers can't do anything right now. Maybe sometime in the future they're more lethal? Riker wants to ask the left fielder. Another black square on the left. They really need to fix that back panel. The planet is Atlek, but the caption always says Alltech, so -1 point. If you want to get technical, since these planets don't have warp drive, they are breaking the Prime Directive, so -1 more point. Deben's bridge is actually the battle bridge, so -1 point. Now the other ship is coming in from the other planet. Luckily, a globfly has no sting, but it makes a horrible noise. You get the impression that these two are in charge of the two planets, but they could just be in charge of small kingdoms on the planets, and are definitely two pissed off dads. The two guys in the back are playing Battleship. Worf says he's been in 3 crew quarters so far. Picard says, Deanna, you need to talk to the girls on the ship about being such horn dogs when a hot guy shows up. Deanna's like, why is that my job? And why didn't he knock on my door? -1 point for an obviously fake turbolift. Worf's racing down the hallway thinking, it's about time, I've been waiting for a year to whip somebody's ass. -1 point for doors to private quarters automatically opening. Why is it Starfleet beds don't have any sheets? Unfortunately, the girls on the ship seem to be rather lonely. We will see her 2 more times this year. Worf's like, these human girls are nothing but trouble. -1 point for taking him to the bridge. They should have met in the conference room. Okona thinks he's in trouble for playing Johnny Appleseed. Deanna's pissed. She's like, you didn't socialize with me, and if you got the part of Riker, we would have been lovers. Of course, you'd rather play the field with the lower decks extras, because you couldn't handle a girl with speaking parts. Okona quotes Richard Nixon. He's like, no, I don't know why there are 2 ships out there trying to attack the Enterprise because of me. Maybe they're after the second baseman. Deben accuses Okona of scoring and running and wants a shotgun wedding. Then he quotes Khan. -1 point for Captain's Log talking down to the audience like we forgot everything during the commercials. Now the show gets strange. Okona is accused of getting a girl pregnant and taking off. The dad is pissed, and the Enterprise crew seems strangely unconcerned as if there's nothing wrong with that. Didn't an alien just get Deanna pregnant without asking? They act as if men can play hide the sausage all across the galaxy without any type of responsibility. There must be a lot of single moms in the 24th century, so -1 point. -1 point for the conference call not taking place in the conference room. Jean-Luc performs the Picard maneuver. Okona says, just let me make a run for it, and we'll see what happens. Security in the back is thinking, when do I get to shoot him? Okona thinks Wesley is the second baseman. Wesley says, Riker told me he has a better beard than you. Wesley gets philosophical and then says, I love you. Okona says, I know. It turns out it's Wesley who gets Okona to make a stand. -1 point, Okona should not have free access to the bridge. Didn't Worf warn them about this? Worf says, I'm number 2. They would not have beamed together like this, so -1 point. This is what Star Trek would have looked like if Jonathan Frakes didn't get the job. This is an odd statement since neither one of them has kids. Worf gets to stand outside and he's thinking, thank God I don't have to listen to these humans. Okona realizes he's working with a lot of rumor spreaders. Benzan thinks he's accused of stealing his own jewel. Okona says he will take Yanar. Benzan says, no, I will take Yanar. He finally grew a pair. Benzan admits he's the dad and the jewel is meant as a wedding gift. Benzan must be pretty unpopular if Yanar would rather tell her dad that a rogue like Okona got her pregnant. Then she says she won't marry Benzan, and her dad still says she's gonna marry Okona. Why? She wants to be a single mom, which the Federation strangely favors. Now Okona mansplains to Yanar. I guess the mansplaining worked because now they're all back together and everyone is happy. Aww. Yanar says, I love you. And Okona says, I know. And now he thinks the baby is his grandson. Data's attempt at being a comic goes sour when he realizes the holodeck audience is programmed to laugh at everything. So he deletes them all and has to start all over again. Aww. Guinan gives some advice, but Data is convinced that making people laugh is important since it's a unique human trait that's outside his reach. Riker says good riddance to that pompous ass now that he's off my ship, and performs a Picard maneuver, reminded Okona of who got the part. Wesley saves the day again by telling Data to say goodbye. So Data says goodbye, Data, and discovers that he may have a future career in saying really bad jokes. Just look at how happy the whole crew is. So, who were the Lilliputians? Julia Casario will be in 2 more episodes this year. Joe Piscopo was the comic. He's famous for being a comedian on Saturday Night Live. You may have also seen him on King Kong and the end of Billy Joel's Keep the Faith video. Terry Hatcher has 60 screen credits, most notably Lois and Clark in Desperate Housewives. She was also on Quantum Leap and Spy Kids. Kieran Mulroney has 40 screen credits, including Seinfeld and Sherlock Holmes, and we will see him again on Enterprise. Rosalind Allen was born in New Zealand and has 50 screen credits, including TJ Hooker, Knight Rider, and Sequest. Albert Stratton was in Baywatch. He also appeared in Quantum Leap, Fantastic Journey, and Wonder Woman. Douglas Rowe has 60 screen credits, including Get Smart, Wild Wild West, and MASH. Billy Campbell was the outrageous Okona and recently won the Canadian Best Actor Award for Cardinal. He was also on the 4400, The Rocketeer, and in 2005 took a 13-month sailing trip around the world. Rumor has it he will be back for Star Trek Prodigy. The outrageous Okona, where the Enterprise looks down on responsible parenting, Data tries jokes, and Riker meets his match, gets a score of 72%. Thanks for viewing. Be sure to leave comments below, click that like button, the share button, and the subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.